Hi guys, this is Priska from priskabaumann.com and this is Bas, my love, my partner. And this is a video I actually wanted to do already for a long time, and I asked Bas if he would join me on this one because it's a topic that goes very, let's say deep, and it's a topic that's very close to my heart. And it's actually related to another video I did around 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2.5-ish years ago. And it's called The Struggles of Being in Love with a Married Man. And it's like the video that I posted on my YouTube channel that has been watched the most. It has like over 27,000 views, and every day it's getting more and more and more. And it's also, I'm having many comments on it, and the comments are very dual on this video. Like, there are people saying, hey, yeah, I actually have to tell you how I made this video, the background of this video. I was sharing my journey, how I actually left Switzerland and moved to the Netherlands. And in this particular video, I was sharing why I was actually leaving my country. And this was because I was in love with Bas. And at this time when I fell in love with Bas, or we fell in love with each other, Bas was still a married man. And of course, this is a very delicate topic, and everybody has some kind of an idea about it and has an opinion about it. And yeah, I got quite some very hairy comments on that video that in the beginning hurt me very deeply. Now, over the time, you get a bit used to it. And of course, these are not people who really know me. These are all people from, I don't know, they even have fake profiles. So it's quite easy to write any kind of comments. But I just want to let you know what some kind of these comments were. Yeah?
Yep, good.
Okay, just going to read some of them. Okay, if you destroyed his marriage, you are black-hearted. Karma will definitely come to you. You destroyed a marriage because of your selfishness. He probably got his kids too. You're gonna burn in hell. So this one is a big one I'm going to read later. Don't love a married man, which I think is very interesting because it actually implies that you can choose who you fall in love with. Like, what a self-serving, nasty piece of work you are. Most men have someone on the side. You either deal with it or you don't. Either way, pain comes with it. The decision is yours. Well, the thing is, in the end, this is also why I want to make this video, because I see so many generalizations and ideas also about love in these comments. Like, because when you say that don't fall in love with a married man, of course this is not what I wanted. Nobody goes out there and thinks, oh, let's just fall in love with a married man because it's so much fun, because you have to go through so much hurt and there's so much pain. And this is not what anybody does, but you cannot demand where you fall in love with. And the very interesting thing, I think, is that whenever you, for example, watch a movie and then there are two people falling in love and they make it work against all odds, oh, this is so romantic and beautiful and powerful, and yes, love is the answer and you have to follow your heart. But as soon as something like that happens, there's so much dirt, there's so much guilt and shame and even hate thrown at you. And the very important thing is that I also want to point out, because Bas made also a video about how he fell in love with me. And this has been loved throughout, like everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. And I shared my story from my side, and I was the whore, I was the bitch, I was the shameful one, the one who has to be, like, needs to be, like, strangled, needs to burn in hell, really, it's so like in the Middle Ages.
Really, and there are lots of different things happening. The first thing is, why is it always the woman who gets bashed? Because, like, in this situation, I was the one who was married, and I was, in the end, the one who decided that I was going to divorce. She didn't pressurize me, because she was very clear, it's your decision. She didn't even know the first time I met her when I went back to the Netherlands, because I was visiting her in Switzerland, what I was going to choose. She left the whole responsibility with me, and I wanted that as well. I also didn't want to know what her decision would be, because I didn't want to be pressurized by her neither. So in the end, it was my decision. And by all these remarks I read, I have the feeling that the Priska in this case, but the new woman gets all the power. But if you really cut it down, I was the one with the most power because I decided to divorce. And Priska was actually, if you want to make it very simple, was only the initiator, which made me decide to divorce. So why don't I get called a bastard or a cheater, or that I have to get strangled through the screen, or that I have to burn in hell?
Yeah, with you it was always the comments. Oh, a man who fights for a woman, who does everything to be in order to be with this love that he has found.
Yeah.
And this is a very interesting thing. And
this says a lot about. Sorry that
okay.
This says a lot about how women still think they should act in society. The same with. It's another example, but the same with if a man has more relationships or has sex with lots of women, he's like the guy, he's the dude, he's the real man. If a woman does that, she's a whore or a slut or a promiscuous little tart. So this is strange. This is still such an old perception or an old belief, mostly done by women, also by men, I have to say, that women still are having a very strange position in our society.
Or they're putting themselves in a very strange position, because we actually don't. Of course, there are still things we need to work through, but in the end, we have the power, and also how we treat each other. Because many women, you can read it yourself, I'm going to link the video, also talked about karma, that everything will come back to me, and I should be prepared because it will come, and they will laugh at me when I will be the one on the floor crying. And yes, I mean, like, this is actually like, it really is like, oh, you are the guilty one, you are going to be punished, I wish you're going to be punished. And this for me has nothing to do with helping someone. If you really believe that I'm doing something wrong, then it should be like that you should support this woman and say, hey, look what is happening there. But not that I needed help or anything, I was just sharing my story, and I was very clear that, like, we didn't have an affair, there was nothing secret about it, we just fell in love with each other, there was open communication. So I don't even know why people or women should, like, attack other women on such a harsh, brutal way. Because I'm not talking only for myself. I'm doing the work, I can catch myself, I know that in the end it has nothing to do with me, but everything with them.
Yes.
But other people, they can be destroyed with these kind of words. If you don't have the background that I have, if you really take this in, because already I took it in. Boss saw me crying many times, and it was not an easy way to. This whole journey was not an easy way, as you can imagine. And the other point I would like to talk about is also about the kids. Because
I want to add something to what you just said about the karma part. Because I think if you are using words like karma, and you use words like karma in the same sentence, like you are going to be strangled to death and I want to bash your face in and you are going to burn in hell, then I really think that you missed the point about what karma means. Because you exactly doing the same thing, you are bashing someone for something that in the end has nothing to do with her, but it triggers the pain in yourself. It has all to do with your own pain. It has all to do with your own, and I'm going to use a word now, and maybe I will get strangled for this, lack. It is a lack in yourself. And by Priska's story, this lack gets branched in, grinded in, it comes to the surface, and then you have to do something with it, and the most easy way is to bash this woman's face in. Well, because then you don't have to look at yourself.
And of course, I also know that many of these women who, or if you're watching this and if you left a comment or if you thoughts about me, which is totally okay, you're right. I mean, like, I'm putting myself out there, so it's your right to comment on it. But then I really see there's so much pain. I mean, I'm really sorry because I see there's so much pain and so much hate around this because I think you have been hurt. And I get it. I mean, it's not that I think it's a fun thing to fall in love with a married man or to destroy a marriage, whatever that means. This is not what anyone wants. But love doesn't fucking ask. It just is there. And then you have to decide, am I now taking this gift or am I leaving this gift? And
of course you can leave the gift, because this is actually what all the women who responded on the initial video suggest you should not do. But who do you help with that? Like I was in a marriage. It was not like the most unhappy marriage, but it was not a marriage where I felt that I could be the most authentic, the most beautiful version of myself. And this, in the end, has had to do everything with me. I do not blame my ex for that, because it was me who didn't step up there. But it was also my decision to step out of that, because it didn't, like, there are situations, like when I married my ex-wife, I wanted to marry her because this was in this moment exactly the right thing to do. But people develop, like I have done a shamanistic education, I have read books, I did self-work, so you develop. And if you are in a marriage, will not always say that you develop in the same direction or in the same pace. It mostly this does not happen actually. And then things can happen that you drift apart or that you cannot find each other anymore. And this is not the most nice thing, but it's okay when this happens, and it's okay to get divorced. There were also people saying like the marriage is the most important relationship. Nay, every love relationship is an important important connection. It's not because you married that this all of a sudden is
more sacred than before.
Yeah,
or also for me, anyhow, the most important relationship I have in my life is the one with myself. And if I'm not true to this one, I cannot be true to anyone. And I'm also wondering, the idea of sticking together with a person even though you're actually in love with another one, is this not a lie? Is it not a lie to your whole life? Are you not lying to yourself then? To your actual wife? And to this other woman? We don't even have to talk about the other woman right now, but just when we stick into this marriage, if you actually with your heart want to be with another woman, but you stay here because society says so.
Yes.
Society says it's the most important thing. Is it not a lie? Does this woman then, at his side, not deserve to have a man who truly chooses for her, who truly wants to be with her? Yes. And in the end, I really think, if you really feel, of course, you should not give up in a marriage too easy. I mean, like, it's so many people just like, oh, problem, bye, I'm leaving. This is not what I mean. It's about looking at it and looking what is actually going on in you if you feel that you fall in love with another person. But if you really feel, no, this is the real deal and this is what my heart is choosing for. And the same goes when, I mean, like, if we were not married, but if we would be married and Bas would fall in love with another woman, I'd rather have him leaving me than lying to me for the rest of my life just in order to stay with me. This is the last thing I would want.
Yeah.
Then I would feel betrayed. I wouldn't feel betrayed if he says I fell in love with another woman because I know this can happen. So.
Especially also, you already... Maybe you want to start about that topic because the kids.
The kids has been a very big topic and I understand this because also me, myself, my most guilt, shame, because I had guilt and shame. Believe me, guys, I had it and I'm working still sometimes through it because also I have these beliefs about, you should not destroy a marriage and stuff. This is even though I was in the story and I knew I was acting from a pure heart. I wasn't pushing anything. Even then, I still had these feelings. But, and the kids were the biggest topic because, yes, there are 2 kids involved in this whole thing. And a woman also thought that they will be forever destroyed or something. I think
they will always have the feeling that they were not enough.
They were not enough, exactly. But, like, for the whole life, they will having this feeling of not being enough. And the interesting thing there, again, is it for a child a healthy place to grow up in a relationship where there's actually not this real connection anymore? Is it, of course, kids always want their parents to be together. I'm not telling you that they don't, but kids also want their parents to be happy. Yes. And also when a kid constantly sees parents who are struggling with their relationship, or who are not really in love with each other anymore, or who are actually constantly fighting, this was in your case not the case, but this is how a child then learns how a relationship has to look like, and it will probably certainly repeat the same patterns as you did as parents. So I don't know, I mean, my humble opinion, in my experience, I even have very many friends who were so happy as a child when their parents finally divorced. Yeah. She said, like, finally, I really was praying for that. And finally, I can now have a good relationship with my dad and my mom, and I don't have to see them suffering every day.
And this was not in our case, because it was not like that we were constantly struggling. But I agree with Priska, even in our situation, because the children, even my daughter, she's 12, she sometimes even says now, it's so beautiful to see the love between you and Priska. And she's not comparing it to what I have had with her mother, but she just sees that. And these kind of things do something with the energy of a child as well. Mm-hmm. Because this is what it's all about. And this is what you want to give your children as well, that whatever happens, make sure that you're happy in whatever situation. Make sure that, for my daughter, that you find a man who will love you for who you are and not take you for granted. But also my son, please find a woman who loves you for who you are. And children are very sensitive, and they really feel when things are not completely good anymore, or when people choose to stay together because of them. This is also some sort of a pressure for a child. I heard this story many times, that children, when they were older and they looked back, that they really felt that the parents stayed together because of them, even if they were not happy. What does this do to a human being? I would not feel very pleased.
Yeah, and you think like that somebody like gave their lives, their happiness, in order for you to be happy. But this is not like what happiness creates. Like, happiness creates happiness.
Yep.
And and I don't know. I mean, like, of course, I wished for Boss's kids that they could grow up together with their parents. But this is not what happened. And therefore, kids, like, I believe if kids can see the truth, and if you're talking to kids, and if you're explaining to kids, kids understand very well. This doesn't mean that they are not sad. This doesn't mean that they wish for another thing. The truth is, they would still wish that they would be together, but they also, in my opinion, I think they can very much fluid go with what is.
What I see is that they, especially my son, he has sometimes still some sadness, and that he wants. Well, I'm not even sure that if I would ask him the direct question, and he's very honest, that he would say, no, I want you and mommy to still. I actually don't even think that he would give that answer. But it's just like that he sometimes misses the old system, the old family system. But simultaneously, he can also enjoy very much when he's here, when he's with Priska and me and his sister and the dog. We play, we do games, and Priska brings him to bed, and she lies with him in the bed and reads him stories. This makes him very happy. So it's a dual thing. Like everything in life, it's a dual thing. And I think in the end, they have never, because this was a comment some people wrote as well, that they would always have the feeling that the parents thought they were not enough. Mm. They never felt that they were not enough, because both my ex as myself always gave them the feeling that it had nothing to do with them. We express our love abundantly on a daily basis. Like, I think every parent says that, but I think these two kids are loved so enormously.
And vice versa, they love very abundantly too themselves.
So I think, like staying for the sake of the children is never a good idea. Like to be in short in the end.
Yeah. And I also don't see, because for me then it's like, because you once married and you have kids, you have to stay no matter what in this form. And then I think everybody has to like bend sometimes, and sometimes it totally works. And if it works, please, it's the most beautiful thing ever. If a family can stay healthy and intact and there's love and connection, this is the ideal picture. This is absolutely the truth, and I'm not going to mess with that idea. But I also think if the box gets too small for more than one, or even also for one, then this is not healthy, because then it becomes not a good form anymore in this version of a family. So
there's one thing I would like to say still, because there were also comments talking about, well, that gave me the impression that it was said by someone who was Christian or religious, or and these comments really struck me very hard, because I thought, how can you, under the guise of Christianity or under the guise of religion, Jesus, God, make these extremely hurtful remarks? And then the preacher in myself gets up, and then I really think, do you think Jesus or God would even allow people to say these hurtful or these nasty things about love, about people who honestly fall in love, who have done in the whole process, which was a very hard process, step by step, but every step was taken from a pure heart. Nothing was like in secret. I have from the start being very open and very upfront to my ex-wife now what happened and what decisions I made and what I felt and what I wanted to do. So I really don't get that. And then I really think, if you feel the need to make these kind of hurtful remarks, turn it around and look in yourself, because what is happening here that you have to do this? Because this is actually doing this because you hurt yourself
with the belief that you actually have.
Yeah.
With the belief that you have about, because I mean, like, you can fall in love with somebody that you didn't intend to, and then you're judging yourself like that, because partially even I did with myself, even though I knew on another level, no, I'm doing the right thing and I'm following my truth. And I got often also attacked because I'm justifying my truth by just being selfish asshole actually, and doing what my need feels is like my needs is above everything. But I think if you feel a truth in your heart, and if you really feel their love is real and this love is returned, why should you deny such a gift of what I see as a gift of God or heaven or whatever you want to see it? This is I see a gift of life. Why should you throw this away and say, no, I'm not going to fall in love because he's married? Or you cannot, you're just falling in love because this is not something that you can decide or not. But why should I deny this gift of love? Because I see this as the gift from wherever you want to see it, if you're Christian, from God or... Yeah. And one more thing that I wanted to say is also that I think it's very important, especially in these situations where we get very much triggered, that we really look at the whole story. Because it's also a reminder for myself, because of course we see something, especially on the internet, we see a little tiny bit of something and we judge and it comes out. And because yes, there are situations where, of course, things are not very handy. For example, when there are affairs and they're like if the man or the woman has for years somebody else at their side and doesn't like express it to the spouse, and there are many very hurtful things happening out there. That is true, and always under this secrecy thing and always not being totally truthful with each other. This is not what we want to, we don't want to promote having an affair here. We're not for, yes, just go for the married man or the married women and you make it happen. So what we do, we just are pro-love. This is what we are. We are pro-love and truthful, honest love, and not just some kind of
concept.
Exactly. If you really, 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 if it's really in your heart. And it's also not what we say, and this is really dear to my heart, because I also got many messages, private messages, but also comments under the video. Am I talking to Swift?
No.
That from women who are in love currently with a man who is married and he cannot make a decision, or he's still and they're kind of addicted to him and cannot get loose from him. This also is for me not a healthy thing.
No.
This means that you are actually taking the breadcrumbs of a person when you are the affair, and of the guy. I also think he's not manning up. He's not owning his shit.
True.
He's not really deciding for you. If he not is deciding for anyone, please stay out of it. And I was also very clear in myself. I never communicated this to Boss ever, but I was very clear in myself. If he would not be very clear what he wanted, and if this would be some kind of a
side
thing, going into a side thing or a shady thing, or his ex-wife wouldn't have known everything anymore, I would have been out. As much as it would have hurt me, I would have been out, because I love myself so much that I know that I deserve a man who fully chooses for me.
Yes. And the same for me. I know there are guys and women who do that, who are able to have affairs for more than 1 year. I could never do that myself neither, because maybe I'm an old romantic soul, but I really believe in the fact that I deserve to be loved fully, and my woman deserves to be loved fully by me. This is also what I want for example, for my ex-wife now, that in the end she will find a guy who will make her feel like the most beautiful, precious, desirable woman in the world, because everybody deserves that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what I want to say to all the women who are in the situation right now, and because I don't want to be the pro-affair person here. No, I'm not for affairs. I'm absolutely not for secrecy. I am for honesty. I'm for openness. I'm for really confronting yourself and the other with stuff, and not holding back or hiding. And yeah, this is really not what I'm standing for. I would never stand for. So yeah, this is it. So thanks for watching again. And I hope we could share some light upon this very famous video that we posted. And we're very interested also in your opinion. How do you see that? For example, why is it that it's always the new one and always the new woman who is being bashed? And it's really in the Middle Ages, even when a guy cheated on his wife, the new woman got stoned. She got killed, not the man.
True.
It was the new woman.
Stoned in thrown with stones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even when she got raped from him, she got killed, because it was always her, the evil, perhaps it's still from biblical, the Eve, I don't know, with the sinful snake, and with the apple of knowledge.
Taking the legacy of sin
upon exactly. You. I don't know, because I'm really, this is really a topic that I got a bit triggered in sense of I'm really interested in getting to know more. And yeah, just share your opinions, please, in a respectful way. This would be very much appreciated. And yeah, thanks for being here, and thanks for talking, for communicating.
Thank you very much.
So much love your way.
Bye.
Bye.